Today I'm talking to Anne Harris, who has made this beautiful work as part of some research she has been doing into wildflowers. So let's hear a little more about her work.
The collection of flowers that I've put together here for the wildflower exhibition were some of the flowers that I was working with when I was at the Marucci Botanic Gardens for a residency earlier in the year. I've been working on a project called The Unseen, and it was exploring the plants and place of starting with the specimens that Sir Joseph Banks collected 250 years ago, and really delving into the unseen and the her story of this event and the consequences that happened with the colonisation of Australia and my own ancestry. So these wildflowers are part of that collection, and it was part of me beginning my conversation with that space and with those plants that I was able to gather with the plants that were in abundance. And there's 3 canvases. I normally work in a series, and I just find that for me that gives me more of an insight and an understanding of the plants that I'm working with. There's so many different times in the cycles, and the flowers come in abundance and then they're gone. So looking at these pictures, having the light, the shadow and the dark also reflects the cycles within us and the cycles that hold us.
And we're looking at these lovely little bottles containing little leaves and flowers from the wildflowers. Can you tell us why you've put these in the exhibition?
The little bottles that I've got in the collection here that's being shown are part of my unseen collection, and these are actually the wildflowers. This shows you how tiny the little flowers are that we're working with. And what I did was, when they were in abundance, I harvested them and then I let them dry, and then I gradually, just as they dried, I put them into the bottles so that I could preserve them, because I found that the cycles of the wildflowers happen so quickly, and if there's a big rain or a storm, they're gone, and then you have to wait like another 12 months before they're in abundance again. And some of the plants only come up after fire or have a longer season than that. So it might be a couple of years before you see them in such abundance again that you can work with them in this way. And these little bottles are part of my collection of the unseen, of the her story, of the recording of place and plants that are from this country, from Kabi Kabi country, where I work and where I live. And the other plants that are pressed and in the frames, they're plants that will go into my collection, my unseen her story collection, and I'm in the process of creating a larger body of work that will be shown at another time somewhere.
At the official opening of the exhibition, you told a story as a performance piece. You spoke of flowers representing personal and universal aspects of your own experience and the human condition. Am I correct in saying this?
The performance work that I did at the opening, it's art performance, and it's part lecture, part storytelling, and part a reflection of my learnings. It came about through the 6 weeks that I did at Marucci, looking at the plants and my own ancestry, and working through Venus, which was a huge part of Cook's journey to this land. And so for me, I delved deeper into the mythology of Venus and into an understanding of where she's placed and how she relates to being a planet in the skies. And at the moment, she was a morning star. So I very much found that she was holding the space for me, and Mars as well. When I put down the different elements within the cycle and the circle, and I've been looking at the concept of memory codes, which is what art was before time began. And art was always a record of a story, of culture, of survival, and it was intricately linked into our lives. In the old way, we use stories, and we would use art, and so drawing or objects with patterns on them to help keep the stories, keep the memories and the knowledge alive. It was the universal knowledge that we all used. So for me, I'm trying, this is at a very elementary level, to understand what these memories are. There's a woman called Lynn Kelly who wrote a book called The Memory Code, and then a following book called The Memory Craft. And this delves deeper into the concepts of what this Indigenous perspective on record keeping and on knowledge is. For me, I'm a sixth generation Australian, looking at how I belong to this country and what my place is very much a part of what I've embedded into this record of the performance and the story that I told. Working with the other women for this exhibition has been one of, I guess, the highlights of walking on country. I think working side by side with other people and getting to know them and to understand their practices and the way they see the flowers and the landscape and why they're drawn to doing this work, especially the Wallam. The Wallam is such a unique and beautiful place, but it's not always seen in this light by people. So when you find other women or other people that are deeply in love with this country, then it's really interesting to just hear more from them. And when we pulled this whole body of work together and see the different stories that are told and the different ways that they're told and the different ways we interact and embed the knowledge that we get from being in a landscape that's so full of stories and mysteries and, of course, wildflowers.
Thank you, Anne, for sharing all your stories about your work in this wonderful exhibition, Wildflower Women 3, Women Walking Country.